been working downstairs, but we haven't really recorded together all week just to give it a little rest. And my wife has been preparing kind of everything up here because next week we have our little guy's first birthday. That's kind of our deadline, what we're pushing for. And then there was a bit of I don't know what you call it, like a little more urgency because now we're having some guests Sunday morning, this Sunday. So working as fast as we can. Progress is coming along. Tonight was kind of a wash though because pretty much right after dinner, our little guy started not feeling good, and he's been. What? You don't want to go into it? Everything's okay. We're just up late because that's how it is. What are your thoughts, honey?
About,
Progress and in general.
I mean, definitely progress is being made, but I just feel like still a lot more has to be done.
I think the office will be done though,
Yeah.
because I mean, basically, the position I'm in is tomorrow, right after the live feed, and after we, have something in our bellies, I'm gonna just have to hit it hard.
Yep.
And I think I could at least get the office completed tomorrow. Um, Enough for you to come and do whatever mopping or whatever you want to do the credenza. I'm pretty good with that, and I've been working.
Tomorrow I have a lot of things to get done.
Well, I mean, if that's an issue, I could also just do whatever the mopping and whatnot, and just put the stuff in the credenza in a storage tote. You could sort it out later. Those are different options, but I mean, in general, the organization.
Well, that's all your stuff. I'm not sorting out
right.
your stuff. I mean, that's
well,
for
right.
you to know.
But I know you wanted to clear it, and
I
that's
want
kind
to clear it to get a head start, but you don't want me to do that.
Well, right, because we really didn't know where to put the thing. It would be in a spot that would kind of hamper what I was doing. But I mean, like I said, I think the office I can have done tomorrow. I really do. I know that your expression, you don't think so, but I think I can. And I've been kind of setting it up where as I get done in the office, I'm slowly getting it filed and whatnot in the basement. And believe it or not, there's an organization to it. I know that you saw it. You probably.
No, I understand.
Yeah. But yeah, what are your other thoughts in general with it?
I feel like after this, like after you put everything away, you buy more comics. Like you have to stay on top of it. You can't let it get out of hand like you've done for 15, 20 years. And
there's a caveat to that as well. While I'm doing this, as I've said to you before, like I can get rid of this, I can get rid of that. Right now, downstairs on top of one of the temporary boxes we're using, I have a couple of BCW boxes to use, but what I've been doing is a temporary kind of thing because I'm trying to work a little bit smarter as far as what I put in the BCW boxes. I've been using diaper boxes to kind of temporarily hold up some books, and they actually work pretty good. It's something I learned from watching. I can't remember her name, but I think it's not DJ Lynx. Not
Rainbows and Unicorns.
No, not Roscoe. I feel bad because I can't remember the guy's name. It's not somebody I watch typically, but I was amused enough where I do have to watch him. And I don't know. His wife was on the Gary B's show. I think it was on the 411. No, 411 is Brian's. I don't think it was the Hot Seat. I think it was the other show, which the name escapes me now because it's almost 12:30 at night. And it stuck out to me. You didn't watch this with me, honey. That's why you can. Because his wife was entertaining, and then that was the first time I saw Lady Fantastic, who was also very entertaining. I've never seen Gary, and I think it was Jim. No, it wasn't Jim. I don't know. The first time I've seen Gary speechless, but it wasn't a speechless like I'm in shock. It's a speechless like, okay, I'm going to let them run. It kind of reminded me of, I was a big Opie and Anthony fan back in the day.
Oh, yeah, I remember those days.
And what do you remember those days?
I remember those days.
You say it like it's a... First of all, you don't remember that. You remember the Opie days.
Sirius XM days.
Right, but I was trying to think. Did I get rid of it by then? No, maybe
No, you
that was the
had it.
tail end.
You
Okay.
had it for a while when we were going out, and then you got pissed off, and then you're like, "All right, I'm not doing this no more. I'm
Well,
unsubscribing."
well, no, there was a couple of things. I was an early adopter to it. Um, oh, is he okay?
Sitting up, and then now he's back down.
We're watching our little guy at the same time, but yeah, no, I was an early adopter of SiriusXM back in the day.
You were like a huge fan of SiriusXM.
Right. I actually when I did my master's, it was about satellite radio, which was new at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to get a job at XM. This is when they were two separate companies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then I went for an interview in the city, and that really went nowhere. But I guess in hindsight, that was a good thing, because about a year later, Sirius basically took over. They merged into one company, and into my opinion, they kind of went downhill from there. And it got to the point where I was going out with my wife, where it was like, okay, I'm paying for this service, which got exponentially more expensive,
Yeah.
to listen to two shows that I like, three shows.
I remember you used to listen to it every time we go, like, for the Elks.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Everywhere.
Yeah. And then.
And we used to travel like crazy.
Yep. And then Opie got fired, and I was listening to Opie's podcast for a while. I haven't listened to it in a while. I did a little bit of artwork for him. And
that was what, a year after we were going out that you stopped subscribing?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
And then Opie's show was free.
Yep.
And it's not that I dislike Opie. It's just I needed a break, because honestly, it was something that started more in like 2020. You heard more kind of political talk, and I was like, I can't really listen to this. And then since I've been working from home, there's no commute anymore.
Don't they have a podcast or anything
you're
listening to?
That's what I'm referring to.
Like, actually stream it to your car or something?
I was streaming it to my car. That's what I would listen to on the way to work, and sometimes on the way back from work. It was just, once you take the commuting element out of it, it's kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
But I digress. How did we get to this part of the conversation?
It's a windy road.
Yeah, I don't know. So organization is ongoing, but as I was saying, as I'm putting them away, I'm making note of what I have to get rid of. I do have, on top of that diaper box, I think I'm getting closer to how we got there, a huge stack of books I'm going to use as giveaways. And I've been kind of, if you haven't noticed, more on IG, I think, and on the community tab here on YouTube, asking people what they're into, what they're collecting, because there are some AOKs I'm just going to send out. That being said too, I'm like looking at this, and it's gotten me to say, like, okay, at one point I was going to go back and fill in like the missing holes of X Factor that I didn't have. Now I'm kind of like, yeah, you don't really need to do that. Okay. There's taking up space, number one. Number two, you could just read them online. The only things that I'm probably going to be interested, from the big two, I should say, in collecting after the summer, and I've said this before, I think is going to be just the main Uncanny title, maybe, and Wolverine. But yeah, just because, like, not counting my Wolverine boxes, I think I'm going to have at least 5 long boxes of X-Men related books, and that's just Uncanny and X-Men, and their offshoots, not X-Force or X-Factor or Uncanny X-Horse or anything like that.
So let me ask you this: how has has organizing changed your outlook upon collecting comics?
Well, I mean, as I said before, there were certain characters that I was basically sunsetting, like Batman. I've been saying for about a year now, like, okay, I've read enough.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of like the same thing with now with Daredevil, um, Fantastic Four. Um, I don't know. I haven't decided fully with X-Men if I'm going to move forward after Krakoa is over. Wolverine is something I do want to keep into. And then really, I mean, I'm not really regularly collecting any DCs right now.
But were you kind of like shocked at I guess, the amount of comics that you have, especially like certain titles?
I mean,
Or did you know that already going into it?
I mean, I kind of knew like with the main titles that I collected, but then there's like a lot of filler titles that, or not, I shouldn't say filler titles, or things that
Independent?
no, things I collected and then just didn't, or maybe limited series that, you know, one of the big two, you know, had put out. Like, for example, like I have separate short boxes or a short box just for the DC Series 52, Final Crisis. I don't think I separated OMAC. I haven't run into it yet. And with Marvel, I had it separated for Annihilation, Conquest, and I think I have Dark Reign and Secret Invasion mixed into that as well. Like more of the stuff like I had a box of just mixed DC Limited, mixed Marvel Limited series, like something like that. I'm not apt to jump into.
Yeah.
So it is changing my outlook in that I'm looking at some of these and like, you know, do I really need to collect this? Because I could just read it online.
So
and
before you were organizing
Mhm.
or took on this project, you were not thinking that way.
Well, no, I was thinking of cutting down, and I've spoken about that before, specifically in terms of X-Men. Now I'm leaning more towards just retaining Wolverine out of Marvel. Maybe She-Hulk, I haven't decided, and that's it. And then just reading anything else online. And then, you know, DC, I've stopped. You know, again, that's been about a year now. Whenever Tynion wrapped up his Batman run, I've picked up single issues here and there. I was reading with Sandman's what is it with the Corinthian, that series. I was reading that, and I know that's on hiatus, but I don't think I'm going to return to it when it comes back. I don't know. I enjoyed it, but I mean, again, like now DC's got that Infinite service, which I've been meaning to look into and just haven't yet. You know, if I could read it in online a month later, why not? I mean, so potentially, you know, by the end of the summer, again, potentially, I don't know for sure, you know, it might just be that I'm down to reading in print Wolverine and then whatever independent titles I like that I can't read online, or it doesn't behoove me to read online, I should say, like Monstrous, for example, which I think is wrapping up soon anyway.
You have a couple of Monstrous books.
What?
You have a couple of Monstrous.
Oh, I have the full run. It's in the
You
30s
do?
at this point. Yeah.
I didn't run into that.
Yeah, but they're winding down. I think they're in the last arc. Writer and artist just took a break. Now they take little hiatuses. I do like, I guess you could say the Geiger universe. You know, it's Geiger, Junkyard Joe, Undiscovered Country. Though I feel like that might be wrapping up soon too.
Never ran into that one.
You have.
I did.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Trying to think other independents. I like what Legacy Comics is doing. You haven't run into any of those because I haven't separated completely. You know, Pat Hickey does a lot of great work. Afram as well with the hustling on that, and trying to think what other independents I'm reading regularly. You know, the good thing about independence, sometimes you could just pick up something and just be like, oh, this looks interesting. Let me take a dip. And, you know, that like The Closet was one for me that was an interesting pickup that I'm still kind of mentally sorting out. But that's another topic as well. So anyway, we're still moving forward. Tomorrow's going to be a big hustle day for me.
Yeah, for me too.
Yeah, and hopefully we're close to mission accomplished here. With that, later, people.